What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Oscar De La Hoya and Canelo Alverez. The Golden Boy promoter isn't publicly burning bridges with Canelo Alverez and feels they will work together in the future. Okay, Oscar De La Hoya came to the AK and Barack Sirius XM radio show and was asked what he thought about ex-Golden Boy client Canelo Alverez saying that he thinks Eddie Hearn is the best promoter out there. He says, "You think he took the opportunity to take a pot shot at Alverez?" AK threw Oscar a softball, which he could have pictured as Canelo and taken a hard swing. But Oscar De La Hoya, who in the second half of 2020 was engaged in some rugged beef with Canelo, let the pitch go right by. He said, "Good for him. I'm glad that he appreciates Hearn. It makes me happy that they're going to be working together long term, and I'm sure that they have a good deal together," Oscar said. "It's good news for everybody because as long as Canelo fights, the whole boxing world wins. I think he's doing a good job. I think that Canelo right now is on top of the world and good for him. I wish him all the best. Let's move on because like I said, when Canelo fights, everybody wins." I had to rewind the tape and listen again. The absence of it was conspicuous because, to be sure, the long-term relationship between Canelo and De La Hoya really went hard off the rails. He did say this, though. He said, "I'm sure I'll be working with Canelo again. I have no doubt whatsoever. People always think the grass is greener on the other side. We'll see." So, let me counterpunch this, guys. Oscar De La Hoya saying, "Hey, we'll fight it. We'll work together again. No hard feelings, no this, no that." Let me counterpunch. I don't believe that. Maybe he'll fight maybe one of Oscar De La Hoya's fighters if Oscar De La Hoya does muster up a fighter that Canelo will fight because they're both on the same network platform, whatever. That could happen. But as far as the next 7 fights, I don't think that Canelo will ever go back to De La Hoya because Canelo is one of these guys where he's a no-nonsense guy. He's a guy that looks at things, evaluates things, and makes a decision, and he's done that. Oscar De La Hoya fucked up with Canelo Alvarez because he had some stipulations in the contract that he was not really concrete on with the Zone. The Zone and De La Hoya had this kind of weird deal, allegedly, that he had to fight Triple G or certain fights where Canelo Alvarez was guaranteed a contract based on whoever he fights because he was marketable enough to fight for that amount of money. And that amount of money led to $365 million. You can't blame Canelo at that point. But you can blame Oscar De La Hoya. Even Oscar De La Hoya didn't really want to fess up to it. But at the end of the day, it was his fault. They got rid of Golden Boy. They left Golden Boy altogether. He was pissed at Oscar. Bernard Hopkins stepped in. When Bernard Hopkins, got shut down, he left. Plain and simple. It was a no-nonsense kind of situation. Okay? Nonchalant, he just left, and he started working with Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn had the rest of the fighters anyway in his weight division, so why not work with that particular person? And Canelo has already came out and said, "Hey, I'm going to work with Eddie Hearn a long time, and he's the best promoter in the world." You know what he was doing? He was throwing shade, and he was automatically, by default, giving you guys a comparison of how good Eddie Hearn is versus Oscar De La Hoya. So, despite what we all know about De La Hoya and Canelo and their relationship kind of just fizzled out, we know that he started a new relationship with Eddie Hearn, a business relationship, mind you, and he's saying that he's the best promoter in the world. Guess what? Has Canelo Alverez ever said that about any other promoter in the world. Don't worry. I'll wait. Matter of fact, I won't wait. Let me just break it to you. He has not. He has not said that Oscar De La Hoya is the best promoter in the world. I think what it is, because they both came from the country of Mexico. You know, Oscar De La Hoya is a Mexican American, and Canelo Alvarez is from Guadalajara. Excuse me. I think what happened, he got in that way when Canelo was a younger fighter and didn't really know the game as such as he knows now. You know, he's able to research and learn things. Whereas Oscar De La Hoya with Golden Boy was picking up people left and right. So that was the best next direction that Canelo Alvarez could have went, okay? And he did that, and he paid a hefty fine for leaving his old promoter. But that's a different story. With 7 more years to go, that's at least 14 more fights for Canelo Alvarez. And then what happens, him saying that I look forward to fighting with or working with Eddie Hearn for a very long time, that speaks wonders. But see, it's smart for Oscar De La Hoya not to go ahead and hate, because if he would have came off bitter and he would have reacted like disappointed, he would have became the target, and he should have, because he would have been the hater, because he was hating on a person that would have showed bitterness towards that promoter, because that fighter, the cash freaking cow people, mind you, went over to another platform or to another promotion and company, because he's still on the same platform, the Zone. So that being said, I think Oscar De La Hoya is still waiting for something that won't happen. I think he's saying that to save face. I think that's the politician answer. I'm sure we'll work together again. No, I mean, maybe across the table. You know what I mean? Down from the table, he might work with Canelo and see Canelo giving him that fucking poker face look that he has. But I don't ever see Oscar De La Hoya and Canelo working again. I think they will work. They'll work in the same venue and same fight card, maybe. But other than that, no. I don't think that's happening. And I think Oscar De La Hoya should reflect on what he did to Canelo. Because you have to, at the end of the day, you have to take some type of responsibility for that man to sign a contract that freaking huge, only to turn around and be disappointed with the contract, and the contract has holes all in it, and you didn't tell Canelo Alvarez about the damn holes that he was about to fall in when he signed that big-ass contract with the Zone. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Oscar De La Hoya saying that he will work with Canelo Alvarez once again. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.